Let's check out my favorite moments from the battle suite, the Fires of Karelian Summer. Firstly, I want to give some backstory about the piece. After I visited the Finnish Armor and Tank Museum, Parannon Panssarimuseo, in late spring 2024, I was inspired to write something of a battle music myself. Then in a couple of weeks, the idea evolved into something that could serve as a mechanized battle music that could be set in the time of World War II. Throughout the summer, I composed the sketch piano version of the piece, and by the end of August, I really started to dig into the orchestration process, which of course took a massive amount of time.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
In this piece, I also tried something completely new. Before I even touched a single note on the piano, I laid out the whole structure for the piece. Each movement, some of the thematic materials, and even some complete themes. And when I started to compose the actual piece, I tried to stay true for the structure that I have written out. And interesting side note is that I began the composing from the third movement, then followed by the first movement and then the second movement, which is kind of funny, but that's the way it was. Okay, let's talk about the actual music then. So the first movement is more of an atmospheric movement that really builds up to the second and third movement. And it has three distinctive themes that are reoccurring throughout the whole piece actually. But I really like how the soldier theme, the theme B, kind of reoccurs in the first movement, and I orchestrated it differently, but it's actually pretty much the identical repetition after each of those like repetitions. So it's kind of like same thing but different. And I also like how the nature theme, the theme A, transforms after each reoccurrence to more unstable version of itself. Then of course I really like the evil theme. Maybe the second time when it comes, it's more like meat in there. And maybe my absolute favorite moment from the first movement is the build-up for the second theme B. I really like how I composed and orchestrated the strings before that, so it got kind of like slowly builds up to the climax of the first movement. I really like how that came up. Yeah. It's more energetic, I would say, and it has a nice build-up. It's more dynamic than the first movement. Also, it's more darker. It's more sinister. I have two distinctive favorite moments from the second movement. The first one is that when the first theme C evolves into theme B, and then the theme B kind of develops into more complex and more energetic version, and then comes the climax and bridge, and the whole piece like slows down and quiets down. So I really like that. And of course the air raid situation there. That's maybe my favorite from this movement. So after a while from that air bombing, air raid, air attack part, there's a Dies Irae motive used for the first time, and it has a really interesting history. It was firstly used, I think, in 14th century, and its purpose was to be a chant that monks used to sing into funerals. But then later it became something that composers, classical composers, wanted to use in their pieces when, of course, they wanted to tell something about death. The second movement really builds up to that, and there's no like distinctive rest for the third movement because I wanted it to be continuous. So yeah, that starts right away, and it's more chaotic for sure. It's more aggressive, it's more menacing, and yeah, more dissonant. All of those things. I really don't have an absolute favorite parts from the third movement, but I would say the last bridge is something that I really like, and the build-up for the last theme B, which is of course the most chaotic and most menacing and most aggressive version of the theme B, and then the piece ends. So that's something that I really like. The bridge is like, it builds up pseudo-hope, I would say. It's not hopeful, but it's a noble, it's stoic, and all of those things. So yeah, that's what I really like about it. Okay, that was my breakdown of the piece The Fires of Karelian Summer. I hope you like it, and see you next time.